By the way, diets are safe to talk about because there's no military backing.
Unless you mess with the vegans. The vegans,
right.
I
Yeah,
mean, they're like a
the
militia.
military.
But you know what? Look, I'm happy to talk to vegans and carnivores, and I don't do either of those things. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to force you to do it, so it's kind of safe. You know what I mean?
But you could get canceled. Like, was it Adele? She didn't get canceled, but they got really mad because she had lost all this weight. And again, you know, just for everybody watching, it's like I think a core component of your podcast has to do with your, you know, health and wellness and weight loss transformation stuff.
For sure. Yes. I think Adele was a hell of a lot more famous than me. So that's a tick against her for like she's already on more fragile footing. Also, I'm a dude and we have to deal with that stress in much different ways than gals do.
Definitely.
And she was kind of, you know, and I think it's really awesome. I really like Lizzo a lot and what Lizzo talks about, but I think Adele meant something to a lot of people. So when she stepped out of it, it was crushing to them. But I think Adele should be able to do whatever the heck Adele wants.
I mentioned this to you before the show that I knew people when I was younger that were big fans of you. You know, you're in these movies and you were very, you know, overweight, is it, or obese?
I was whatever. You can't offend me with those words.
Well, you know, just for the, you know, keep it friendly.
I was
for everybody.
550 pounds, so
Yeah.
I was morbidly obese, perhaps even moribundly
obese.
Yes.
I love it. That phrase. Not it really, just like the pointing it out. Anyway, but I knew people when I was younger that were fans of yours because you represented them.
Yeah.
That they looked to the movies and they finally saw, hey, this person's like me. And I think that's really interesting, especially what you mentioned with Adele, because it was probably the same thing.
Yeah.
There are a lot of young, overweight women who see that she's famous and successful and talented, and then she sought to lose weight, probably because she wanted to be healthier and take care of herself and live longer and all of these things. Make people feel bad, I guess.
Yeah, I've definitely had some people say I preferred you fat, and I just don't care. Like, because I want to be the way I'm. I had been wanting to be the size I am now for so long that like how you want me to be doesn't really matter. And then I will say, the flip side is there are a ton of people out there who also have goals that maybe they haven't achieved, that they look at me and go like, I wasn't even necessarily that heavy and he did this. Maybe it's possible for me too. And that feels good.
What was the experience like growing up? Like, how did you find yourself to become obese, and then what changed and how did you get to where you are now?
Well, interestingly enough, when we think about this in political terms and the idea of forcing people to do things they don't want to do, I was placed on diets starting at 5 years old.
Whoa.
And I never wanted to be on a diet at 5. I'd never wanted to be, like the moment I woke up and went, I want to be on a diet, I want to lose weight, was the first time in my life that diets started working. And I was 22 at that point, but I was also 550 pounds. Also, it had nothing to do with health. Like that was not a metric I was using. Sitting in this chair when I was, even today, I come in and I'm testing the chair. Like, is this chair going to collapse under me? Waking up every day with swollen, sore feet, having real knee issues. Sweating as I'm toweling off from a shower that I had cool so I wouldn't overheat. Like,
wow.
These are the issues that I was like, I'm done doing that. Health never entered into it, and I was very unhealthy. Once I got my footing and I started to become more healthy, I went, oh, this is really cool too. Now I'm going to apply this metric as a goal. And that's been something, but I don't think any of it works if you're trying to force somebody to do it. So there's a real weird conversation happening right now in the world where there is one team going, obesity or overweightness or whatever word is appropriate is not a metric in health. And then there's another team going, as a reaction to that almost, you're just lazy, you need to lose weight. And so there's these two bizarre battles. And I personally don't think either's right. I think we live in a day where there isn't a lot of physical activity required. Certainly, we're not out hunting and gathering food. Even the job, the workplace has gone down in as far as like physical abilities.
Look at us sitting in chairs.
Yeah, this is your job. This is amazing. You know, and so at the same time, food has become cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And like, of course, people are going to become overweight. This is like a perfect confluence of events to lead to that. You know, we're the wealthiest country of all time ever. We have a lot of overweight people because they're all kings.
And now they close the gyms, tell people to stay inside, and some countries even make sure that they can't walk 2 blocks away from where they live.
Right.
So a lot of insanity is happening, especially, I think the conversation about health has been hijacked by so many different individuals, by so many different special interests, and there's so many different opinions on there. I think a lot of people have a hard time finding out what's right for them. But then also a lot of people forget you're an individual. Individually, what's right for you might not be right for someone else. So that's another big discussion.
I think it's really interesting you mentioned it's kind of like the libertarian nature of it. Like, you've got to decide for yourself. People can't force you to do it. You've got to figure out what works for yourself as well.
Yeah.
I don't think forcing people to do anything is right.
It doesn't work.
I mean,
I don't think so either.
You said moderate. When I asked you earlier, you said moderation was how you did it. What is that exactly?
You know, at the end of the day, almost all, you know, even if you're not hyper focused on it, the principle behind diets is thermogenesis. It's the way you use energy. And so food is an energy source for your body. I've done, you know, I'm just going to eat 500 calories a day for 2 months and white knuckle my way through it. That's extreme, right? Taking an entire food group and demonizing it and cutting it out of my life, that's also extreme. At the end of a few years ago, I found like if I just spend some time counting calories and figure out, because I actually had no idea what my body required. I would cut out carbs, and then after a while I wouldn't lose weight anymore because I was eating too much steaks and avocado and butter, right? And then I would just have to start reducing that without thinking about it. But I'm going like, if I want to lose weight, I have to eat less. And then I start losing weight again, which is kind of against the principle of the keto diet, where you're supposed to just be full from eating a bunch of fat.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the way your body consumes excess fat is by feeding it too little. Now, if you go really extreme, the vast evidence is that you're going to relapse. Very few people go very extreme, do it very quickly, and then have that as a sustainable achievement.
You need to set a habit. You need to create a routine and then turn the routine into a habit. And the people who do like crash diets and stuff, they don't. They're forcing themselves, and then once they get to their desired goal, their habits return. So it's really about, I think, what do they say? It's like 21 days.
Just set a habit. I've
set a
heard
habit
that too.
Something like that.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing is, there's just a lot of nuance in here. I can also empathize with the idea of like when you're ready to do it and you wake up one day and you go, oh my God, I can't be this weight anymore. It's hard to breathe. You know, I'm sweating all the time. My feet hurt. My back hurts. You want it fast. You want to, you know, as I wanted it fast. You want to get that weight off as quick as possible.
Yeah.
It's very hard to like take a step back and go, this is going to take a lot of time and a lot of hard work. That's a really hard proposition to make for people.
And also rewinding a lot of the kind of establishment conditioning that's brought onto people that starts off as their children in school. If you look at a lot of the school lunches, they are absolutely horrible for you. If you look at that food triangle that the government recommends for you, it is absolutely horrible for you. If you look at a lot of the fat that's being banned and not used in large supermarkets, that's because of a sugar industry banning it for you, and then the larger consequences of that are not even talked about. What do you see, though, is you see a lot of McDonald's commercials, you see Pepsi commercials telling you to get a COVID test, you see government officials telling you wear a mask, social distance, but that's it, predominantly. And I'm like,
where's the go outside?
Yeah.
Like go for a walk, get some exercise.
Where's the sleep? Where's the meditating?
You know why I always wondered why it is they put psychoactive stimulants in our sodas. And I'm like, it really is a sweet deal for these fast food companies. You get a Big Mac with extra sauce and an extra large supersized fry or whatever, and then you eat it, and it makes you feel miserable. So then you guzzle down a half gallon of soda chock full of psychoactive stimulants.
You better be careful, Tim. The thought police are going to go after you for attacking Coca-Cola now. So
Coca-Cola.
Be careful.
But no, I remember when I was younger, I'd be like watching someone eat this really awful food, and then they would go, "Oh, I can't move," and then they would take the 2-quart cup of Coke or Pepsi and then chug it and be like, "Now I feel good." And I'm like, "Yeah, caffeine is a stimulant." You know what really blows my mind? You guys ever see those commercials where it's like a really big fat guy and he's like eating a giant pizza with his friends, and then he goes, "Oh," and it's like, "Do you have heartburn? Take this drug." And I'm like, "Dude, stop eating the pizza. It's like it's hurting you."
Yeah, nonstop commercials and all these other supplements. Take that. I remember being in Kentucky once and seeing at a diner this morbidly obese family, and instead of like regular drinks, regular drinks just standing on their table, they had those huge soda bottles, and they had an infant baby, and the infant baby was obese too, and they were literally giving the baby the Coca-Cola like this.
Gosh.
The baby was. I'm like, I lost a little bit of hope in humanity.
Yeah.
My hope is still there. I'm very optimistic, but seeing these really large people feeding their child just all the Coca-Cola.
But hold on. There's serious problems here. I mean, what do you do? Michael Bloomberg wanted to ban. Didn't he try to ban large sodas, or did he actually do it in New York? He tried.
I don't think he was successful. I can't say that I think any food thing is bad. I think it can be used in a way that goes against how you want it to act in your body. But at the end of the day, I think that's up to us. You know what I mean? Like we didn't all out ban cigarettes other than San Francisco, but like they taxed the heck out of them.
And they bar. You can't go into buildings anymore with cigarettes. So they found a way, make it so you can't smoke.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's because it's unhealthy to other people. But at the end of the day, we still allow people to smoke. You
just got to go in the park and not stand near anybody.
Right.
And then you can have your cigarette. Well, everyone's vaping now too, and then they banned that.
Right.
I don't think. Look, there's a Ron Paul video we referenced the other day, and it's just one of the greatest videos ever. Did you see this? From 1988? Oh, it's just so good. He's talking about the government shouldn't regulate drugs because the government can't make you a good person. You have to choose. And then at the end, he's talking to some guy, and he's like, the government's not going to make you a good person. How about the government puts you on a diet? You're a little overweight. And then everyone in the audience is like, boo, boo. And I'm like, but he's making a good point, man.
But they also shouldn't subsidize drugs, like that sugar industry, the aspartame industry, and the high
They're
fructose.
subsidized?
If the government's going to get involved, there's going to be an underground mafia market of people selling large sugary drinks everywhere. Prohibition doesn't work. It never did work, no matter what it is. Every time government gets involved, it screws people over. Let's just be honest with ourselves. What we do need is personal responsibility, and not the government intervening, telling you about food triangles that are absolutely wrong, not subsidizing and running with big sugar industries and other industries, not running with GMOs and Monsanto's that has a revolving door within the FDA. Maybe without government, we wouldn't have so many people that are so dependent on these chemicals.
It's true, but you got to protect the kids. Like, we used to sell cigarettes to kids. There used to be like Joe Camel, the cartoon character, and the government had to ban those because the market wanted to get them hooked early, and they're doing that with sugar.
More importantly, there was medical doctors telling you to smoke because it was good for your health.
Keep that baby.
Okay, so keep that in mind, especially when you have medical doctors now, because medical doctors could be bought and sold just like politicians could be bought and sold, and people need to remember that.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.